Here we go.
At your leisure.
Peter, thanks for coming today. We are here. Today is my 5-year anniversary that I joined RE/MAX Integrity Leaders, and it's been quite the ride. So I thought it would be apropos to have Peter come. Typically we meet for breakfast every Monday, which is a blessing because during that hour we go through everything and anything. And it's an hour of education and amazing conversation. And not all brokers do that. So thank you for that, Peter.
You're welcome.
So I figured, you know what, let's have breakfast at Casa Bello this morning and do a live interview in my new home office. So Peter, thanks for coming. It's always a pleasure. You're amazing.
Thank you,
and
Stephen.
I'm forever grateful to you.
I'm grateful for you too. Hello, everybody. This is a really exciting moment. I think a little over 5 years ago, we met at a diner, much like we do every Monday.
Yeah.
And you were struggling, I think, to say the least, in making any type of momentum in your business.
Doing it part-time, right?
Mm-hmm.
While working as a chef.
Right.
But I wasn't getting the leadership and the mentorship.
I suppose so. And I remember proposing a question to you and laying out to you what success looked like and what the process of success looks like and how it can upend your life a little bit. And before I even decided that I wanted to take you on as one of our fantastic agents, I needed to know that you were prepared for that. And
yeah,
you did. You put some serious thought into it, and then you told me you were. That was the start of a beautiful friendship, mentorship, you know, whatever this is.
Yeah, it's been an exciting time. And remember, we went through COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We went through a lot of highs and lows in the real estate market, right? And but through it all, first of all, not only with your guidance, but I'm passionate about real estate, right? I mean, I was blessed. 2 careers, 2 successful careers that I absolutely love, that I put my heart and soul into. Not everybody could say that.
Yeah.
And once I turned that switch off as a chef, and I was 100% in on real estate, I love the lifestyle. You work a lot of hours, probably more hours than I did as a chef, but it's quality time. You know, you put your 80, 85 hours in a week, but it's quality, and it's helping families like achieve their dream. And as a realtor, you play a role in that. That's a tremendous responsibility.
Yeah, it's special relationships. And yeah, you've come such a long way from doing, I guess, next to nothing when we first met.
Yeah.
But you had the tenacity. That's the most important thing, is you had the drive to do what it took, but when you don't know what it takes, it's impossible to know which direction to start running it.
You need a roadmap, right?
You needed a little bit of a roadmap. And that's all I can do. Like, I can't make you do it. And oftentimes as a broker, it can be really disheartening because I'll put more energy into an agent than they'll put in themselves. And which is what led me to change the business model to only people that have the type of drive that you have. Because if I'm not being fulfilled by seeing you and other people like you fulfill their destiny because they're not putting the energy in, it's not something I want to be part of. So I'm blessed to just give a little guidance and then see you run and do what you have to do.
Yeah. You know, it was funny, we talked about it, right? This year for me has been like phenomenal, not only for sales and achieving my goals, right? I've always set my goals high, and this is the first year I've actually achieved them. And there's been a tremendous amount of accolades as far as awards and so forth. But when I was being interviewed, they asked me, they said, what is the most important pivotal award that you've received in your real estate career? And the answer was, and some people would say, you know, you've achieved Who's Who America, you've You're up for Gatsby Award, Realtor Icon of the Year. You know, it goes on and on. Uh, the most important thing that impacted me was when you had me go on, and I have it up there, that 100% life project, 100 life project. And I took that like here because, and I said to you, I go, not a lot, you don't fill that out, right? There's probably less than a dozen names on it in the 5 years I've known you.
Right.
And I was blessed, I was number 3 on that list. And that tells me that you truly believed in me to be successful. So that's fuel and fire for me. Because if you believe in me, I don't want to disappoint you. And I don't want to disappoint myself.
Right.
So that was pivotal for me.
Yeah.
And it's not just you achieve one goal and you're done. It's continuous growth, right?
Right.
So I want you someday when you're old and to open up that 100-year-old bottle of bourbon to celebrate all the people's lives that you've helped.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for being part of that. I mean, that is my life's goal, is to say I've had a profound impact on 100 people's lives, a positive impact on 100 people's lives. And so it's not a small feat to put something into somebody and see the good come.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So that's why you belong there. And I owe you a thank you for that.
You know, it's funny how life goes though, because I find myself now 5 years into it, and I really believe that it took me 5 years to get my stride, 100% confidence in my day-to-day operations. I find when I meet young agents and I see that sparkle in their eye and that tenacity, that I want to embrace them and help them and share some of my stories so that they could be better and grow into their future. So it's not just your list, it's contagious.
Right. I love
And
that.
it's contagious amongst the people that are fortunate enough to work for you.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. What is it that gets you up in the morning now? Like, what challenges, like, because knowing you and you always want to go to the next level, right? You're not looking to hit a certain place and then just hold. 5 years in, you're having a phenomenal year. You're gonna have a phenomenal year next year. What do you want to tackle so that the 5 year from now Stephen Bello looks like X? What does that Stephen Bello look like?
you know, more systems and procedures, everything. You know, I often look at you and how you operate your business, right? You operate business a little bit different because you're on such a larger playing field. It was sort of like when I was a chef, right? And I was putting out 3,000 meals. I couldn't touch all the food.
Right.
I had to empower my staff to do it for me. And being a control freak, sometimes it's difficult to do that, right? But one of the many things you taught me, in order to grow, you need to start, you can't touch everything, right? You have to have systems and procedures that can make things happen. And eventually, you know, get an assistant, maybe start to create a team. What's important though is, and you've been so good at it, as you grow, you don't want to lose that personal touch, right?
Yeah. And I think the key thing to take away is you have to have a vision on what you want your clients or your core audience to experience. That is unbreakable. That's a non-negotiable. And then you can form fit your business to grow and build systems around this experience. How do I create, and it could be 6 things that happen that make my clients feel like X. And then as you grow, you have to understand that this has to be able to happen whether you have 2 clients or 200. And if you think along that lines, it helps you start build systems that prepare you for those 200.
Yeah.
And that controlling feature in a lot of human beings, especially real estate agents, bogs us down. And a lot of times it comes from fear. It comes from a fear of letting go. It comes from a fear that if you let go of control, the world is gonna just spin away and everything's gonna fall apart. And letting go of that comes with both understanding that if you choose to be in that control, you've already picked your ceiling. You will not hit, you can only go so far. You can't go as high as you want to go.
And that's okay with some people, right?
It is.
We see a lot of great agents out there. It's a one-man show.
Yeah.
They're happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm my own biggest critic, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I always want to live up to your expectations, but nobody can be more critical of me than me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we talk about it all the time. Certain situations, and you taught me this, if it's a bad situation, what's the takeaway? What could I have done differently? You know, dissect it, understand it, so that you're better because of it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. You never come from a place of the outside world did this to me. You just have to come from a place of what actions could I have changed?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're constantly doing that, that's the only way you can change. That's the only way you can grow as a person. That's the only way you can be the Stephen Bello you want to be 5 years from now. Because to create the type of business or the type of life that you want 5 years from now, you can't be the person you are today. You actually have to develop a different, the same core person, but you have to develop a different human being, a different habits, different understanding of the world. And you can't do that, and this holds back probably most people in the world at everything, is when things happen to them or happen at them, their defense mechanism has them say, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe this happened to me. This is my luck. This is the thing. And if you're doing that, you're never working in here. So you will be that same person. And what's sadder than being the same person you were 30 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lifetime of pointing fingers outward.
Out of every disappointment, there's an opportunity, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a gift.
I mean, I told this story a couple of times because it was really profound to me. So we're having breakfast, and I said to Pete, I go, I was fired last week. If you know me, you know that I've never been fired from anything, right? I'm an overachiever. I go, I was fired, Pete. And he's like, let me tell you something. If you don't get fired at least 2 or 3 times next week, you're not going after enough business.
That's right. Yeah. There's going to be, if you're not creating the type of business where bad stuff is happening, then you're not having enough business.
Yeah.
You know, like, because there are so many personalities and so many people out there that are either unstable or just don't mesh with you.
Yeah.
That
we're not everybody's cup of tea, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Our job is to control the controllable.
Yeah.
That's it. 20% of the time, we have no problems. There's no matter what we did, we could be the worst agent. We get a yes from our clients and happiness from our clients, no matter what, and we feel like superheroes.
Yeah.
20% of the time, there's nothing we can do. They are gonna have a problem. That's how they live their lives. They're not ever going to see something in a positive light, and there's nothing we can do. Yeah. The power is in the middle, where you can control the environment that you're in. So you're going to get 20% of freebies, 20% of I'll never change this, and you have 60% of the rest of the population to create that experience and make an actual difference. And that's you can't let anything that happens with that 20% do anything but help you figure out a lesson to learn.
You know what's amazing is, it actually reminds me when I was a young kid, right? your parents would tell you something, but you really truly didn't believe it because you don't believe it until it actually comes to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember early on, I said to you, I go, I don't understand what I'm bringing to the table in real estate because I've never done real estate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize, and you realized it, but I didn't. All of those qualities that I brought from my previous life, right? Those
Mm-hmm.
inbred qualities, being good with people and being a motivator and a leader and all that, all those qualities come into real estate.
Yeah, and service. Like
Your service.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're a chef and you're plating food, you are using an empathetical part of your mind to go, if when this plate goes under the nose of a human being, what are they going to experience?
Response, reaction.
How am I going to make the greatest presentation to the eye when they first see it? How am I going to create the greatest presentation to the mouth when they taste it? And you have to use this empathetical process to import yourself into their bodies so that you know you'll never see it, but when it leaves your hand, you know what's going to happen and what it's going to look like when it hits there. That is building a business. That is building an understanding of your client base. You know your client base, they're hungry. Yeah. They're hungry and they're at a certain type of restaurant. They have a certain level of expectation and you want to go above that with these experiences.
Yeah.
So you just take that and shift it to now as a realtor and you turning on the same empathetic mind and building that narrative in that same way.
And one of the most important principles is no matter what I do, I really give a shit.
Right.
Right? I care.
Yeah.
I care as a chef. I care as a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And people feel that, and they need to feel that.
Yeah.
That is above all everything. That these are moments that people don't know what they're doing, and they are scared of making a big mistake because these are big things. So they're going to express that in a whole variety of different ways. And our job is first and foremost to let them know that getting to the other end of this process where they're better off, where they're in a way that takes their stress away, takes their pain away of this whole process, and that you're going to do everything you can to eliminate their exposure to risk or pain. It's the first step in creating a lifelong business.
Yeah.
And that communication and that empathy and expressing that is where business is made.
You know, I look back, right? Coming from corporate America, getting benefits, you know, making a good salary.
Mm-hmm.
There is something to be said about a steady check every week, right?
I'm sure.
It's scary making that move, right?
Yeah.
I was scared.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at my wife, corporate America, same thing, and we're both blessed. We took a chance. First me, and then my wife.
Mm-hmm.
We work from home, and you know, not only have you had a big impact on my life, but you've been super supportive to my wife's business, and it's a beautiful thing. To look back on that fear, and to look at the present, and to know that you overcame that fear, and not only did you overcome it, but now you're successful. And we both fuel off each other because we're in the same business, right?
Right.
It's an amazing thing. And we're both self-employed.
Yeah.
So I pinch myself every day because it's a totally different lifestyle. Sometimes you just need to take a chance on yourself and give it everything you got, and there's a good chance you'll be successful.
Yeah. I think the most important thing is understanding that if you don't do it, how much regret will you have? That's the thing. Is like you have to You have to ask yourself, when I'm 95 and I'm in my deathbed, am I gonna look back at my life and go, I just took the easy road? And I don't want that.
Yeah.
I would rather risk failure
Mm-hmm.
than risk poverty. That's how I live. It's a difficult leap, but the greatest thing about starting a business is you're forcing yourself to become a better person, because you can only do better if you change. You can only do better if you adapt.
Mm-hmm.
You're constantly in these challenges and pain and struggle, and then you get to momentum, and then you get new challenges, new pain, new struggle, and it will never end, which means that you're always in this constant state of growth. You can't say that when you work at the DMV and you go in and it's the same problems every
Yep.
day. You clock out, and then you get to let it all go, and hopefully you're building growth somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But you could also go home and watch TV and
Yeah.
get and do whatever, and then you can spend 30 years never being forced to grow. The beauty of business is not just taking that leap. It's taking a leap on your personal development. And I think when people realize that, they're more likely to take the leap, because it's not just a financial leap. It's a personal, interperson, self-development leap too. And once that's expressed to people, I think you're getting two things out of one action.
I mean, I see realtors all the time, and I like to ask them questions, right? Because everybody's got something to learn from. But the commonality is nobody landed in real estate. Like, they didn't graduate college or high school and say, I want to be a realtor.
Right.
Everybody's done something different, all walks of life, and they landed here, which is very interesting.
Yeah. I think
I mean, you didn't either, right?
I was an iron worker. Yeah. And I started investing in real estate, and then I worked backwards into becoming a realtor, and then a broker, and all that. I think it is, for most, I don't know what to do, so I'll get my real estate license thing. That's why 95% of people fail at it, because they don't know what to do. They don't know that it's a business. They don't know what it takes to actually make it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the survivors of that process are the same ones we're having conversations with. I mean, I went into real estate because I got hurt, and then was sitting home having surgeries and watching the financial crisis took place. It was a housing crisis, and it interested me. So I jumped into real estate, first investing, and then into being a realtor and a broker. It's hard not to think of real estate when you drive down the road and all you see is real estate.
It's true. It's
you
everywhere.
know, so it is the default thought, and I think what happens is probably 10% of society will get a real estate license in some form, because that's what it is. You're driving around. We're in a house now. There's a house across the street. I'm going to be driving. I'm going to pass 1,000 houses before I get to the office. So when you're in this moment of what do I do with my life? Well, there's a house.
Exactly.
There's got to be a way I can make money with that stuff. But really, it's those that, when they're in it, they go, oh yeah, this really is for me.
Yeah.
I'd say like 97% of people, it's not actually for them. And it's not actually about real estate. That's what, I actually don't care about houses. I've never walked into a house and go, oh, that's great. I never think about houses. I think about people.
Yeah.
And I think about the problems they're trying to solve, and I want to help them solve it. If you moved it to something else, as long as there's people, as long as there's problems, as long as there's goals and there's motivation, I would do that. And that's really what we're doing, is we're taking these moments from people that are making these big moves and decisions in their life, and we're going, come this way. I got you. I'm going to get you where you want to go.
Yeah.
And it just happens to be that it's houses. And I think people miss that until they get in it, and then they don't realize the burden they're taking on. How do you get a client? How does anyone trust me? And then once they do, when is the phone gonna shut off? You know, like it's this crazy thing where like it's impossible to become successful. And then when you're successful, it's impossible to shut it off. And you have to be a special type of person to be able to get through phase one and enjoy phase two.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing.
You know, when you start that first listing, I just want to get number one, right?
Yeah.
And I remember my number one with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Typically, it's a family member, right?
Yeah,
It was my godmother who I
Yeah.
opened the door, and then I got 2, 3, and then before you know it, you're on a roll.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to focus on the numbers, like count. I got 5, I got 6. I don't even know where I'm at now. I don't care.
Yeah.
I just want to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a blessing. It's a great way to live a life.
And especially in today's market, right? These young kids, it's rough for them.
There's always going to be challenges. It's a shift of challenges, the shift of problems. Interest rates are high, prices are high. Okay, these are the problems.
Yeah.
What are the solutions?
Yeah, always the solution.
The market's collapsing. People are losing their houses. Okay, these are a new set of problems. How do we find solutions? You know, there's, we're going through every cycle. Everyone's going to go, man, this market. And it's just a reset in a different set of problem solving tools. And that's our job, is just to adjust our tools, get new tools, and that's it. You know, we can, too often, people either complain or wait for something to change, both as realtors and as buyers or sellers. You choose the actions that make your life better now. You don't wait. You just don't wait.
And be resilient as a realtor, right?
Yeah.
Adapt to the market, and be the calming source, right?
There is no agent that's been doing this for 20 years. They don't exist. They're at best 5-year agents 4 times, right? Because the agent that did it 20 years ago would not know how to. If you just teleported them in here today, they would not know what they were doing. So, really, the most important thing is be in it, enjoy the problems, and attack those problems.
Yeah.
And try to get as much in the dirt and in the weeds, and ask questions and talk to other people that are solving problems, and you'll hear all the creative ways that you can make people's lives better.
I look back on all those phone calls to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, moments of panic.
Yep.
You don't, as a young realtor, you don't have experiences to tap into. And it's important to have a good support system behind you.
I love those calls.
You do?
I do.
Like, I'm being a pain in the ass. You know?
No. I thrive on hearing and guiding. And I'm the one that if there's a calamity, if there's a panic, if there's I get fired up to solve it.
Yeah.
You know, my business, the flip business, we have like 4 crises going on right now. I've never been happier. You know, we have houses going on auction on the 25th. We got to find people to hold escrow, and like, because it's an estate, like this thing might go to auction, and how do we stop it? I have people putting liens on houses we're trying to buy that we got to get off, and we got like a week to get it off, or that deal's gonna. We have all these and it's all hitting us, and it's big problems and it's big risks to our business. And I'm going, wow, this is good. This is where I want to be. I want to be in it, you know.
Yeah, I feel the same way. It's like I operate better when I'm in the thick of a lot of business, a lot of problems, and you get in a rhythm, right?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Especially when you can solve the problems.
That's everything. That's the fun. The fun is, I love being the one that solved the big problem.
Yeah.
That is my happy place. It's like, yeah, the bigger the better. If we get through it, I get to like take a breath, maybe smoke a cigar, you know, and then go, where's the next one?
In 5 years, we'll be celebrating our 10th anniversary, and I am super excited as to where the next 5 years are going.
I can't wait.
It's going to be amazing,
Yeah.
and I'm happy to be on the journey with you.
Same here.
So not only are you my broker, but you're a dear, respected friend.
Right back at you. All right, Steven. Love you.
Love you too.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Later.
Oh, great job. See how long we were going.